Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Parker, and today I'll be presenting on the US voting age. This is my sister, she'll be my audience for today. Go ahead and take your seat, thank you. So, in the United States, every election that we hold will, in one way or another, affect the future of our country and the people who live here. However, many Americans who will be affected by these elections are denied the opportunity to participate in them. The right to vote in America has been altered many times before to include more people. Many decisions about the economy, environmental issues, and public safety affect all of us. I've been researching the effects of lowering the voting age to better understand how it could benefit our society. And today I'll be arguing that the voting age should be lowered from 18 to 16 years old. The voting age should be lowered to 16 because many 16-year-olds already have many adult responsibilities. It will improve voter turnout and civic engagement and strengthen our democracy. So to begin, I'll be talking about how a younger voting age could increase voter turnout and political engagement. For many people, voting is a habitual act. According to an article by the Cogidio Press, young people who turned out to vote in their first ever election were more likely to vote in future elections. Allowing 16-year-olds to vote will introduce new voters and get them accustomed to how voting works before they're more focused on other things, like graduating high school and moving to college. Since kids under 18 most likely live at home, they would not be burdened by confusing residency laws or absentee ballots that hold back many college students and other new voters. In addition, introducing the youth to voting at 16 will create lifelong habits that continue as they grow up. Some countries outside of the US, such as Austria, Brazil, Nicaragua, Ecuador, and Argentina, have lowered their voting age to 16. And according to the article by the Cogidio Press, research from these countries points towards a lasting increase in youth voter engagement in up to 20 years after such reform. This research reinforces how getting the youth started with voting early has been proven to increase voter turnout among the youth in following elections. Not only would a younger voting age improve voter turnout and political engagement, it would also strengthen our democracy and create a more fair representation for young people who are affected by political decisions. Teens should have the right to be heard and have their opinions taken seriously. By denying them the right to vote in elections, we're saying that young people don't have enough maturity or knowledge to make an informed decision. Without the right to vote, they have no say or in no way to hold the representatives accountable. In Article 12 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, it states, "The child who is capable of forming his or own views has the right to express those views freely in all matters affecting the child, the views of the child being given due weight in accordance with the age and maturity of the child." Teens under the age of 18 should be allowed to voice their opinions in policies that affect them. Some very important topics that they are affected by are gun control, which has proven to be a very huge problem in schools, student debt, climate change, and social media laws, and education policy. All of these affect teens just as much as adults, if not more, because they have to live with their consequences for a longer time. A government that lacks young people's voices in politics will fail to advance their interests when they do become of age to vote, which will result in a misrepresentation of the public. In addition to the positive effects voting can have on 16-year-olds' habits and engagement, a large portion of the youth is mature enough to understand how politics work and to participate in other adult activities. Lots of 16 and 17-year-olds around the country have adult responsibilities. Whether they have a job, pay taxes, are a primary caregiver, or something else, they are certainly active and contributing members to our society. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, June of 2024, more than 6.6 million youth aged 16 to 19-year-olds were employed, which represents more than a third of the youth of that age. This shows how a significant number of youth were employed as of June 2024, and that young people also take on major adult responsibilities. According to an article by Pace, multiple studies show that 16 and 17-year-olds have a similar political knowledge to young adults who have voting rights. And in some cases, youth show more sophistication than adults in reasoning about political issues, seeking information, and discerning fake news. Another example of how kids under 18 are in some situations considered as mature as some adults is that they are in some cases charged as adults and incarcerated as adults, which means sending them to adult prisons. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics in 2021, 1,960 juveniles were in custody of adult prisons and jails in the United States. This demonstrates how our society expects young people to be able to understand and navigate the adult legal system and have enough maturity to be placed in adult prisons. In addition to the expectations society places on youth, they are also capable of other amazing feats. At 16, you can win a Nobel Prize, publish your own book, climb Mount Everest, and even become a pilot, which ultimately means putting the lives of others in your hands. If young people are capable of doing all these incredible things, it's inconsistent to not trust them to participate in elections that directly affect their lives and future, especially when they're only 2 years away from meeting the current age requirement. Despite the benefits, some people still do believe that lowering the voting age to 16 would be a mistake, because 16 and 17-year-olds aren't mature enough, nor do they have the necessary life experiences to vote. However, I'd like to point out that knowledge and experience are not criteria for voting. The United States does not require voters to pass a civics test, an intelligence test, or prove a certain level of political knowledge before voting. Adults with widely varying levels of education, political awareness, and cognitive ability all retain the right to vote because voting is a fundamental right, not a reward for passing a competency test. We live in a democracy where everyone can voice their opinions. That means we can't prevent someone from voting just because we think they might vote badly. Even though it can be baffling to understand why someone voted the way they did, it's important to keep in mind that there are no wrong votes. There are many people who believe to be uneducated or ignorant of certain issues or get their information from biased sources. But we can't just disenfranchise the people that we disagree with. So in conclusion, I believe that the US should lower the voting age to 16 because it encourages voter turnout and political engagement, creates fair opportunities for young people affected by policies that they have no say in, and many teens are mature enough to make educated political decisions. I implore all of you to support legislation that would give 16-year-olds the right to vote in major elections. Thank you. Are there any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.